Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nelly. This channel is all about dreams, lifestyle, spiritual minimalism, and faith. Today, we're going to be looking at how a decluttered mind brings benefits to marriage. Do you know the foundation you lay in the early stages of your marriage is very crucial? Carrying baggage into your marriage can ruin your marriage in the future. We need actually to declutter our minds so that we can focus on the positive things in life. Have you noticed that sometimes physical clutter in your home leads to a mind being decluttered too? It actually works and it feels great too. Mostly negative thoughts will stop us from living in the present and from living a happily fearless life. When we manage our thoughts, our minds cannot control us, so we need to manage our thoughts. Negative emotions can chain you down. When you marry somebody, you become one. This ends up being a combination of a chaotic marriage if both of you have got baggage. So you need to ask the Holy Spirit to change you. You need to work on you, work on your emotions, especially if the clutter you have in you is just full of emotions. Before you let somebody into your heart, deal with what's within you. God will strengthen you and God will mature you. You'll be able to discern and you'll be able to listen to your feelings. Feelings and people can mislead you as well. So don't look for people's opinion when making decisions. Learn to make your own decisions. Learn to trust the Holy Spirit as well to lead you. There are things that you need to consider to avoid entering a disastrous marriage. One of the things you need to declutter your negative thoughts. Negative thoughts can really mess up a relationship or marriage. When your mind is decluttered, it's a renewed mind. Sometimes our backgrounds can also affect us, the way our thinking. A decluttered mind is a renewed mind. Sometimes our background can affect us, can affect our way of thinking. Sometimes it's not about the way we grew up. It's just that we don't trust anyone, especially if your mind has got cluttered. When you marry somebody who is mentally unstable, you are opening a door to the enemy, an enemy of bitterness. Once you open the door of bitterness, your marriage becomes affected. One thing about bitterness is you become bitter about the little things, about how you grew up or how you hated your third grade, or maybe you start hating people around you. So you need to guard your thoughts. Learn to challenge yourself. Learn to step out of your comfort zone and accommodate the next person. Remember, when you bring somebody into your space, it's no longer about you. Another thing is change. If the world manipulates you, then you remain conformed into your soul and your values need to change. Never allow people's limitation to become yours. You need to become the new you. Also, you need to change your circles, keep them small and keep them positive. A healthy mind generates a healthy marriage just by being enough with yourself. Be willing to change. You need to position yourself to be a wife and remove yourself from toxic people around you. Divorce yourself from group thinking. Your mind will control you. Learn to overlook things. This will help you also solve unnecessary arguments. You would attract things. You will attract positive things. When you know your worth, you attract positive things. You attract love. Embrace yourself and embrace love. In Romans 8 verse 14 says, "For the many are led by the Spirit of God. They are the sons of God." God is willing to lead us. So through the Bible, be willing to be led. Change may never happen until you take it to God. It's a process, but be willing to change if you want your marriage to become a successful one. Remember, the person you're bringing to can have his own baggage too, but at least it's better if one baggage comes from one side. It's easier to clean up than having too much baggage. As a woman, you also need to pray. You also need to learn how to pray. You need to pray because it's very important to sustain the marriage. Another thing, you need to commit and respect. You need to be able to commit to this marriage. Both of you come from different backgrounds. By showing commitment and respect to your marriage, it will last. When there is no respect in the marriage, when you do not have respect in your marriage, when you have no respect, you are slowly giving your spouse a ticket to leave. He will slowly spend less time with you, because with men, respect is love, while with women, love is attention. This is like opening a door for the marriage to break. Remember in the book of Esther, how Queen Vashti disrespected the king by refusing to go when the king had called her. What happened to her? She was replaced. When your mind is uncluttered, you won't have pride in you, because pride is another thing that also affects a marriage. If you have pride, it also affects the marriage. Assumption is another thing that you need to remove as a baggage in your marriage. The society has conditioned us to see the world in a different way, but if you make assumption, makes us to live in our own interpretation, and it creates hindrance to marriage. You have an open mind and communication becomes better. You do not assume what your spouse is thinking, because most of the time when you assume, you hear the conversation differently. That creates argument as well, and you cannot make future plans, or you cannot make future decisions, because most of the time you hear the conversation differently. One thing about assuming, it makes a conversation not to be concluded. That is why it's important to deal with clutter, so that you can be able to hear things better. And only God can help you change, and God will also give you wisdom. When you become a wife, you need to have wisdom to save your marriage from disaster. When you listen to your spouse, you get to know them and you learn the person that you're married to. And one thing that is important is not to think you'll change that person. Do not think when you're married you will change somebody, because you cannot change anyone. You need to change you. Lastly is being judgmental. For communication to go on, you shouldn't feel judged. This helps when you show acknowledgement of a conversation. You will need to work on your communication skills and your listening skills rather than judging the next person. For conclusion, your mental health is very important. When your mind is decluttered, you'll be able to hear the Holy Spirit, because Satan doesn't want marriages. Satan wants to destroy every marriage. If you work on your mental health, there are things that they shouldn't be an issue. You should just learn to let go. There are things that you should need to work on yourself than thinking you will change your spouse. You need to change you. Build your marriage on a clean foundation than a marriage that is full of clutter. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that.